Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you all. Yes, indeed. It's good to be back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, doing the live stream.
Yeah, because we didn't get away.
We didn't. The TC last week. How did you cope? I hope you got on okay. I did ask him to say you can have a cup of tea at any time during the meeting. He must have forgotten.
Must have forgotten all about that.
Oh, well, what can you say?
Can't get the stuff these days.
That's what he's saying about us.
Yeah, so you can have your cup of tea any time.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a bit strange for us preparing all those meetings to be done one after the other and then sitting back for 2 Sundays and watching whilst it all went on.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
It
But
was. Yes.
and we're both still alive. We haven't killed each other yet.
So far,
Yeah.
there is time. So, announcements for this evening. We're back to sing and play tomorrow morning. And the requests are coming in already.
Yeah.
I didn't put a reminder out.
No, because I was thinking about putting a reminder out, but hey ho.
Yes.
That was good.
A
Yeah.
stale mince pie for Pat, is it? Lovely.
Okay.
Yes. So, yes, we've got the sing and play tomorrow morning. Looking forward to that. Food bank on Tuesday. Wow.
Yeah, it was a bit manic.
It was indeed.
Last year, for this week, I think they had 5 parcels.
They did.
So this year we had 43 parcels helping 88 people.
Yes. So if you look on the information that we put on our pages, that's not what will be on our pages because we've had 2 extra calls since Tuesday that we've gone out and helped here.
Yeah. So that's just been a bit mad.
It has indeed. So we're expecting it to be busy again tomorrow, on Tuesday rather.
Yeah.
We're expecting it to be busy.
Yeah.
And we've managed to rope in one of our new neighbours.
Yeah.
So
That's been really
first
good.
conversation.
First conversation we had with them. Yeah, you managed to kind of rope them in and yeah.
So we're looking forward to Tuesday. And we are so grateful to the team that have been working so hard to make sure that that happens. What happens, we put together the food parcels. We get either a phone call or we get a messenger message from people. And we put together the food parcels and then they're delivered out. It's food, toiletries. Sometimes you've got other things, like there are some lovely gloves to go out amongst the things. Hats.
Yeah.
We'll put them in the bags as well.
Yeah, and we had, over Christmas, we had quite a bit of like toiletry sets, so we were able to give gifts to some of the guys that are on their own. Christmas week, everybody got a Christmas card because Elizabeth actually said, I don't know if these people get a Christmas card. I think I'll maybe go and get some. So we put a Christmas card in every parcel that we put out the week before Christmas, just so people would know that, well, we were thinking about them. And yeah.
And there's a copy of the War Cry goes in, which serves a double purpose. It's also, obviously we're trying to let people know about Jesus by putting the War Cry in, but we also write their names on it, so it's easier to spot the parcels when we're looking for them to put them in people's cars.
Yeah.
So we had help from the Rotary Club over Christmas, New Year weeks, and that was very, very useful with the number of people we were helping.
Yes.
Yes. So there have been 2 people promoted to glory in the last few weeks who would be close to folk who tune in for our meeting. Kath Walker from Findochty Core, who was promoted to glory just before Christmas, the Sunday before Christmas. We found out after we'd actually done the meeting. Yeah. Otherwise, we would have been able to let people know about that.
Also, David McMartin from Airdrie, Grandpa, was promoted to glory just before Christmas. And so we think about the McMartin family, we think about the core in Airdrie. He will be such a big miss to the core. The last few years, obviously, he hasn't been able to do as much as he would have liked to have. I know that sometimes he tried to push the boundaries a bit, but he was a great encourager and a great prayer warrior. And I know in these past months he had taken it upon himself to telephone people. So we think about the family, we think about the core at Airdrie, and just pray that God will draw close to them in these days as they readjust to that.
Yes, I think in the early days when we were in Airdrie, David was desperate to go out and still do his collecting. He would have gone out in his buggy if
he'd been able to.
been allowed to go out. But we had to persuade him that actually he would allow far more people to go out if he were to stay at home and look after the youngsters. Not sure how much looking after was being done, but
I think the youngsters looked after him, actually.
I think they were on the entertainment duties.
I think so.
But it certainly did allow more people to go out.
Yeah.
And very, very faithful indeed, and will be sorely missed by a number of people there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we want to ask for your prayers as well in these coming days for our friends who tune in as well. Keith, Zara and Estelle. Keith's a retired officer in Aberdeen, and his wife is in her last days, we believe. Keith and Zara have been at the hospital overnight a number of times, and Doreen is in a poor way, just in her last days, and we'd ask for your prayers for them. Keith was my partner in crime when we were at Aberdeen at DHQ. The two of us were naughty boys in the songsters.
Certainly were.
And we did have a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
But they are an absolutely wonderful couple, and we would ask for your prayers for them. Those of you who watched our Christmas carol service will remember the karate chopping angel. That's Estelle.
Yes.
She's a very good friend of ours as well. We'd also like you to remember my sister Fiona and her family in prayer as well. Her family have been affected by COVID at this time, and we would ask that you'd remember them as well. I'll get the update later on from my mum, no doubt.
Yes.
But we would like you to remember all of them. And I have to say thank you for donations that we've received.
Yes, huge thank you for everybody who, I mean, you all think that it's us that goes out and does all the work, but in actual fact, we couldn't do it without everybody who helps us, whether it's been through monetary gifts or giving us things to give to people, food for the food bank, gifts for families at Christmas. We were able to help a good number of families at Christmas time. And for those who are praying for us as we go out, I know on a Tuesday there are lots of people praying for our ministry and for our safety on a Tuesday. So we just want to thank you for that, just for whatever help you're able to give us. Some of you might be sitting at home absolutely helpless because you think you're not doing much, but you're helping us a great deal by praying for us and helping us in so many different ways. So thank you so very much. And Linda, we will think about Karen, your sister. Linda, my very, very bestie friend in Bellshill. We'll think about you and your family at this time.
Yes. So, shall we get on with the meeting? It is lovely. Right.
So, if you've got a songbook, we're going to get back to singing the songs again after a few weeks of Christmas carols. It was really good. But we're going to sing song number 27. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, feed me now and evermore. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am weak, but thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, feed me now and evermore. Feed me now and evermore. Open now the crystal fountain, whence the healing stream shall flow. Let the mighty cloudy pillar lead me on my journey through. Strong deliverance,
and shield. Ever still my strength and shield. When I tread the verge of Jordan, did my anxiousness subside. Death of death and hell's destruction, land me safe on Canaan's side. Songs of praises, I will ever give to thee. I will ever give to thee.
And let's just share together in prayer. Father, again this evening, it's so good to be able to connect with so many people. And over these past few weeks, we have missed all the chat, going back and forth. And so we just thank you for all those who have joined us this evening. Lord, as we have started this meeting, we have had a number of prayer requests that have come up on the screen. And we just pray for those situations at this moment in time. We just pray, Lord, that you will draw close to those who need your love in a special way. We just pray for your healing for those perhaps who need it this evening. And we just pray, Lord, that people might know your presence with them, whatever situation they might find themselves in. We thank you again for your goodness to us. And at this time when there's a lot of uncertainty again, as this virus seems to have overtaken again at such a speed, we just pray that you will indeed calm the souls of those who perhaps need that at this time. We just pray, Lord, that you will just walk alongside us day by day and protect us and guide us in the way that you would have us go. As we share together this evening, as we open your word, we just pray that you will open our hearts to you. And may we indeed learn something new of the love that you have for each one of us this evening. And so we just pray that you will be with us in all that we say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now we're going to move on to a second song then, number 45. Number 45 in the songbook. Now thank we all our God with hearts and hands and voices, who wondrous things hath done, in whom his world rejoices, who from our mother's arms hath blessed us on our way with countless gifts of love, and still is ours today. Now thank we all our God, with hearts and hands and voices, who wondrous things have done, in whom his world rejoices, who from our mother's arms hath blessed us on our way with countless gifts of love, and still lives us today. Oh, may this bounteous God through all our life be near us, with ever joyful hearts and blessed peace to cheer us, and keep us in his grace, and guide us when perplexed, and free us from all ills in this world and the next. Oh, praise and thanks to God, the Father now be given, the Son and him who reigns with them in highest heaven, the one eternal God, who never turned at all, for loves it knows is known, and shall be evermore.
And as we have been singing those words. There have been lots of people who are asking for prayers for people. And perhaps when the meeting is finished, if you want to go through and just look at the names of people, 2 people from Airdrie, Cor, Betty and Carol. Betty's asking for prayers for her son-in-law Mark, who has been in a coma. He has got COVID. And also Carol asking for prayers for her mum, retired Major Margaret McCaig, who has had a bad fall. And there will be lots of others. And so perhaps
this is a wonderful way that we can actually encourage each other and ask for prayer as well.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Please keep those messages coming in, because we certainly look back over the
certainly do
messages that have been sent on during the meeting. We don't always catch all of them as we're trying to lead the meeting, but also we do look back, and we will continue to pray for everyone who's asking this evening. So Christmas came, and it was very different, wasn't it? It wasn't what we'd expected at all. Wasn't what we'd expected. So
no, we thought we were going to have 5 days with Mum, and then we were going to a cottage, and we were going to get that break that we needed. Having said that,
I'm feeling quite refreshed at the moment.
Yeah, me too, because we had 4 days of doing absolutely nothing. Well,
we had 2 days of holiday with 2 days of work in between.
Yes.
Both times
we did, because we thought, well...
The DC lock this.
Well, because we thought, we can't sit here and let them get on with the food bank along the road, so we couldn't have done that.
So we still had to go to the shop and pick things up.
We did.
And take them over.
We did.
And we still had phone calls, and we still had people at the door.
We did. It's the joys of living in a community, but do you know what? It's a community where people look after each other and care for each other. And, you know, yeah. Yes.
Indeed. So we still did have a good Christmas, didn't we?
We did.
We used this thing. We used this thing a lot, actually.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of FaceTiming. Well, I don't know what it's called. Whatever it is.
Things, yes.
Yeah, we did. And we used the phone. We communicated by telephone to people. But it was good.
I don't know about you, but I was feeling a bit guilty that Edmund was going to be left out when we were going up to Orkney. He still had his work in Glasgow right up to Christmas Eve.
He did.
And he wasn't going to be able to go up.
Yes. Phyllis asked, who cooked?
Seriously? I've done it once.
Well, do you know, I went into the shop one day. I think it was just after Christmas. I think it was the Monday, it was probably the Monday. And I was looking for something to have for tea. And this woman she goes, are you struggling? And I went, yeah, I don't know what to have for dinner. I said, we've lived on leftovers for the last 3 days. And she said, oh, lucky you, I've lived on chocolate.
We still have that stash to work through.
Yes, we do.
Yes. Here we are. So, Christmas, any presents this year?
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing, wasn't it? All our presents were in the wrong place. So, but we managed to get some. We've managed. So, what did I get? Oh, you bought me a lovely Nest bag.
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually bring a Christmas present through. Many of you will know that I am one of these awkward people that have a Christmas birthday. So, my birthday present, which I think really should have been a Christmas present too.
Couldn't do that.
I know.
It's a camera.
It's a camera. I need to learn how to use it properly. Thomas, I could do with you here. Yeah. So, I've been going out, but I need to sit down and just work it out properly. I've worked out 1 or 2 things.
Yes.
And I need to actually sit and delete a lot of pictures because a lot of them aren't very good. But yeah.
So. Some of our presents are still in Orkney, and some of our presents are on their way to Orkney.
Yes.
The Dundee presents, we managed to get them sent away in time because, well, we weren't going to be going down to Dundee anyway.
No.
But hopefully...
Hopefully the box will arrive.
At some point, yes.
But I think there's a box coming to us. Yeah. So...
Well, your mum's talking about putting Easter wrapping on.
Well, yes.
Well, that would be a first.
That would be a first. I get my birthday presents wrapped in Christmas paper. And all our kids get, when it's their birthday, I mean, Ola's is August and Erlen's is October, Seth is June. They all get, well, I think Seth got Toy Story paper on his, but all the kids get Christmas paper on their birthday presents because that's usually the only paper that I've got in the house.
Yeah, it's become a tradition.
It has become a tradition. They actually get quite disappointed. I think they actually are jealous of me having Christmas paper on my birthday presents.
Could well be.
Could well be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but Christmas Day, we had a nice relaxing day.
We did.
And we've been a walk most days, really, haven't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But...
Yes. This was a really thoughtful Christmas gift.
A bit of a change in the background. I hope you notice and appreciate. We're trying to keep things fresh. Woo! But we got this present. Look, we'll take them out so you can see. Obviously, somebody's been watching who sits where. And we've got this lovely present. So that's going behind us.
Yes.
I'll turn my flag.
Turn the flag round, yes. So we're just kind of keeping it all fresh.
Because, well, the writing's actually the right way for them on that.
Yes.
That's to represent the true core, you see? One flag for each.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So. Yeah, so Christmas was good and we just chilled.
Yes.
We did.
What did you do? Anything at all?
I started knitting a jumper for Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a fair bit on with that.
I did, yeah. I didn't do so well with the reading. I was going to read a lot. I was hoping to have finished the Anne Cleeve's book that I'd started.
I read Cloud How.
You did. But I was sitting reading, sitting doing crosswords, sitting doing some colouring in, different things like that. Yeah.
I read Sunset Song a while ago.
You did.
That's the second one in the series, and I've still got Granite Grey to read at some point in the future. I'm having a break between each.
Yeah.
Spacing myself out.
Well, I did. I read my Advent readings took me right up to Christmas Eve, so and I enjoyed them. And then I thought, right, well, I'm going to sit and read, but you know what? I think I just chilled.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I did, just New Year, just before we started back to work, I decided to go upstairs.
You did?
And do a bit of artwork. So I took a picture of Seth, which had been taken, a photograph had been taken by Jeff up in Kirkwall, and I started to draw it. And I'm still working on it, but I've stopped for a while because when I got to that point, I stood back and had a look, and I saw Cameron looking back at me instead of Seth. That's what our grandson's dad looked like when he was a baby. So I left it like that for a while. I will go back to it. Sorry, Cameron, but I'll have to go back and try and make it into Seth. But it really struck me how much Cameron Seth must be, you know?
Yeah.
He's got different ears.
He does. He does. He does. Yeah.
So, yeah, reading, a little bit of artwork for me, and walking.
Yes. Yeah, we did some walking, and that was really, really good. And then New Year, anybody who follows us on Facebook know that we like our family picture on Hogmanay. We've done it. I think we can go back. I think there's just 1 year, and I think it was in 2009 into 2010. For some reason, we didn't take a picture that year, but that's the year that we stayed in Airdrie. And I don't know if it was just we were so busy and it was snow and everything.
Right.
I don't remember us taking one that year, but we've had one nearly every year since about 2008, 2009. So we decided to have a FaceTime and we took our picture. There was Mum and us and Erland and Ola, Cameron and Seth. I think Bruce is maybe looking for
I'll
the
see if
picture.
I can find the picture.
So we did that early on in the evening because obviously we wanted Seth to be in the picture, and he tends to go to bed quite early.
Yes, indeed.
And so that was really good. There we go. So there's our family picture this year of us all.
That was us.
And we just kind of chilled and watched TV, and we stayed up till midnight, and then we phoned Mum, and then we FaceTimed Ola, Cameron and Erland.
Yep.
And that was really good. And then
went to bed.
That was it.
We know how to.
We know how to rock it. We certainly do. We certainly do. And we just had a quiet time again at New Year. And that was really good. And we actually do feel quite rested. But then last week at Food Bank, it was like, oh.
Yes.
But I think, this new variant of COVID, and so like everybody else, we are doing what we have to do and taking care of the rest of the time, which I hope that you all are doing as well.
Yeah, please do. Obviously, we're seeing the number of people where your families are affected by COVID, and we do, we want to stay as safe as possible. We're at this so near getting through.
Yeah.
With
the vaccine
having started.
Yeah.
Yes.
The vaccine started.
Mother-in-law's had hers.
Yes, she certainly has.
Yes. Orkney must be the place to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, must be. So, but hopefully, the vaccine will get rolled out. I think there'll be a good bit down the list, but hey-ho.
Well, we're moving up the list all the time.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. If there's extra points for hitting 55, I'll be there in a couple of weeks. There you go. And you, of course, have... I'm in trouble already. I better not get into any more trouble. Let's sing another song. Number 37. Number 37. Immortal, invisible God, only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious. Thy great name we praise.
Right. I'm getting better with this one.
Immortal, invisible God, only wise, in light inaccessible, hid from our eyes, most blessed, most glorious, the Ancient of Days, almighty, victorious, thy great name we praise. Unresting, unhasting, and silent as night, unwanting nor wasting, thou rulest in might. Thy justice like mountains, thy soaring above, like clouds which are mountains of goodness and love. To all life thou givest, to both great and small. In all life thou livest, the true life of all. In blossom and flourish, as leaves on the tree, and wither and perish, but not changes thee. Great Father of glory, your Father of light, thine angels adore thee, all veiling their sight, all praising and render, oh help us to see, 'tis only the splendor of light by thee. Here we are. So, New Year is a time when traditionally we think about people having a vision for the future, and we're the Salvation Army for a number of years looked at vision and commitment. We will be focusing on commitment a little bit later on. But yeah, visions and dreams.
Yes.
Any visions and dreams for you?
Any visions and dreams for me? Oh gosh. Just like a name to all of this. And wonder what things will look like when we do eventually get back.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might be some new opportunities that we could partake in. I think the big thing is that our children in our toddler group are all going to be too big. And so maybe there is something that we could do for them to keep that connection. I know that when we do Message Church, we put the invitation to them to be part of that. But I don't know, just...
Yeah, I think we need to have some real serious conversations, and people are welcome to join in with those conversations. If not, it's just us doing the talking.
Yes. The big thing at the moment is that, if things continue the way they do for a while, and I think the food bank demand is going to be huge for the time to come, that if you came into Bucky Hall, I don't know how we can do anything in the hall at Bucky at the moment. It is just jam-packed full of food.
Yeah, I think we would be using a lot of the space, even if we moved the tables to either a side or to the back of the hall.
Yeah. So, because I think
and some of those tables would be too heavy to move.
I think so. And I think the 2 metre distancing is going to be in it for the long run, and the wearing of masks is going to be in it for the long run. So, I think that there's a lot of hard thought to go into how we can go forward from here in the next few months, and we won't shy away from that. Up until now, our utmost responsibility, I think, has been to keep as many people as safe as possible. Now that includes ourselves. Got to recognise that you in particular are in a more vulnerable category as one who has asthma, as opposed to your age. I wasn't going to mention that. We've got to recognise that. And that many of the people who have been coming to worship with us are even more vulnerable than you. So that has been at the top of our thinking. And being able to reach out like this, and with the newsletter, The Strange Times, we've been doing our best to try and make sure that we are able to keep our community as together as we can. We know it's strange and it's difficult, and it's perhaps not as we would want it to be, but it at least is still, we're still trying to meet needs, and we're still trying to engender that kind of fellowship that we would like when we're able to gather together for worship. But I have a feeling that we're going to have to continue doing this as well. So one of our meetings is going to look a little bit different from what it was before we went into lockdown. Yeah, dreams. Well, this week, oh my goodness, I had a fantastic cheese before I went to sleep one night during this week. I don't know if Robert Ross is watching tonight, but you featured very strongly in my dream, Robert, because I was conducting your wedding. Now, you will be ever so grateful that I did not conduct your wedding. Robert has been married for a few years. He got married before we came to Findochty, which is probably a very good thing, as I'll share with you about the dream. Somehow, it kind of began at the reception. Okay, so the wedding had happened, and we were at the reception, and I suddenly realised that I hadn't read out any of the legal words for the wedding. So I turned to Robert and said, actually, Robert, you're not legally married. I still have to say these legal words, and you have to respond. Both of you have to respond to these words. But I've left my ceremonies book at home.
So I had to go home and pick up the ceremonies book and to pick up the Army's Register of Marriages as well. Came back and I said, I've got these now. We could either do this now or afterwards when everybody else is gone, but I've got an idea that you might want to get away after this. So, you might want to do this just now. Do you have the schedule which goes to the, what do you call him? Registrar. And he didn't. So, there you are. That was one dream. The second dream I really enjoyed, and it went on a bit longer. And in the second dream, I got to a point where the alarm went off in the morning because I still set my alarm. And I looked at the alarm and I thought what day it was. And I thought, I have no reason to be getting up just now. So I went back and I finished off that dream. Have you had any good dreams? Oh, come on.
I haven't, honestly.
Never, ever, ever. I don't believe that.
Had none recently.
None
Struggling
recently.
to sleep sometimes.
That's what she says.
Oh. Yeah. No, I can't think of any
The
dreams.
earplugs that I wear tell a different story.
I can't think of any dreams that
I can't think of any dreams that you've had. I remember one as a child and it stuck with me. I think I had chicken pox and I really had a fever. And for some reason, I had to fly from, Mum's house, there's a picture rail, goes all the way around in the sitting room. I had to fly back and forward so many times within a minute.
All right, okay.
I don't know who was telling me I had to do this, but I wasn't just fly back and forward. I was actually doing a somersault and a turn. So it was like doing the front crawl turn for swimming.
Right,
For those of you who know that, I had to do that back and forward, back and forward, back and forward. And there was nothing that actually came out of that dream at all. But we do have some strange dreams. We are to have a dream for the future, though, a vision for what we would like the Salvation Army to be. And that vision for us is something that we're really going to have to work on. And as I said, I really would like other people to be involved with that as well. We believe that this form of ministry is something that we should be continuing with, but we also need to gather together with our people as well. And those are things that we would like to do in the future. Of course, the Salvation Army, being the Salvation Army, will at some point appoint us elsewhere. And Sunday night might not be possible if we're in a different situation. But we don't have to worry about that just now. We can carry on as we are.
Did you dream you were a United fan?
That would be a nightmare, as you well know. And even after last night.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those of you who might be outside the country or are totally disinterested in football, my football team, Dundee, played Bonnyrigg Rose of they're a junior team, which means they're about 5 or 6 leagues below Dundee in the Scottish Cup yesterday, and until the 93rd minute, Dundee were losing. The game was only 90 minutes long. It was stoppage time and Dundee got an equaliser. Then they went behind in extra time and managed to eventually win 3-2. And of course, at the end of the game, Erland and I exchange our usual greeting to each other. Never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
And Erland replies, easy. Incredible. Well, visions and dreams. Please share with us in our vision and dream. We're going to turn again to the songbook. Yes.
Yes.
Number 571. As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you.
As the deer pants for the water, so my soul longs after you. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. I want you more than gold or silver, only you can satisfy. You alone are the real joy giver and the apple of my eye. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. You're my friend and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you.
We've got two scripture readings for this evening. The first one is from Genesis chapter 12 and the first 3 verses, and then Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 to 8. So Genesis chapter 12, the first 3 verses. The Lord had said to Abram, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse, and all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you." And then Exodus chapter 19 and the first 8 verses. In the 3rd month after the Israelites left Egypt, on the very day they came to the desert of Sinai. After they set out from Rephidim, they entered the desert of Sinai, and Israel camped there in the desert in front of the mountain. Then Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain and said, "This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, and what you are to tell the people of Israel. You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt, and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now if you obey me fully and keep my covenant, then out of all nations you will be my treasured possession. Although the whole earth is mine, you will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words you are to speak to the Israelites." So Moses went back and summoned the elders of the people and set before them all the words the Lord had commanded him to speak. The people all responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought that answer back to the Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
We're going to consider those words in just a few moments, but we're going to sing another song now.
And it's number 661. Mine to rise when thou dost call me, lifelong though the journey be, thine to measure all its windings, leading step by step to thee.
Mine to rise and let us go be, lifelong though the journey be. Thine to measure all its windings, leading step by step to thee. I am thine, O Lord and Master, thine to follow to the end. Thou art mine, O Christ, my Saviour, guide and help and lover friend. Mine to follow even blindly, thine, O Christ, to go before. Mine to try and scale the barrier, and to bring an open door. I am thine, O Lord and Master, thine to follow to the end. Thou art mine, O Christ, my Saviour, guide and help and lover friend. Thine to smile in face of failure, thine to gladden my defeat, thine to kneel and drink of sorrow, thine to drink its water sweet. I am thine, O Lord and Master, thine to follow to the end. Thou art mine, O Christ, my Saviour, guide and help and lover friend. Thine the sealing and revealing, all the acts from of my vow. All I give thee but the body, but no longer thine just now. I am thine, O Lord and Master, thine to follow to the end. Thou art mine, O Christ, my Saviour, guide and help and lover friend.
You know my mind works in strange ways. That's the first time I've noticed that line, mine to kneel and drink O'Mara.
All right.
Michael's with us tonight.
All right,
Mike
okay.
O'Mara is drink of Mara. Yeah. There we are. So, the Salvation Army has a month given over to vision and commitment. Many of you in the local area will have got that. Of course, it'll be the right way around, as opposed to reflect there. And on the back of it, there will be an opportunity for you to sign up later on in the month, or now, if you want to make your commitment to God, to renew, for many of you, to commit to God. In Genesis chapter 12 and the first 3 verses, we see God making both a personal promise to Abraham and his universal promise to bless all of humanity through his descendants. Now that sounds absolutely incredible, that this one person would have such an impact on the rest of the world. But that was a promise that was made to Abraham. If he followed God, if he trusted God, if he obeyed God, then whatever the future held for him, that future was going to be blessed by God. That's the kind of thing that we've taken and listened to and heard for ourselves. Because God called us many years ago now to go and follow him. We didn't know where it would take us. Isabel had no idea that she'd be back here where she was many, many years ago as a child. We had no idea of the stops along the journey and the people that we would meet. The things that we've experienced along the way have been absolutely incredible. And for Abraham, who became Abraham, the things that he experienced are far in excess of what we've experienced. He trusted God, and God, time and time again, has proved himself faithful to Abraham and his descendants. Then in our second reading, Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 to 8, we see a definitive covenant, the covenant with Israel through Moses in giving the 10 Commandments. God asks Moses to remind the people who have been rescued from Egypt, you yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt and how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, what a picture that is, to be carried on eagle's wings. The people of Israel, they were servants, they were slaves in Egypt. They were downtrodden. They had no rights whatsoever in Egypt. And God took them out after that series of plagues that were brought upon Egypt. God brought them out and didn't just take them out, but actually took them out in a miraculous fashion. But here there's a bit of poetic license about being carried on eagle's wings. There is a Salvation Army chorus that talks about, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And it's one of those choruses that tends to come out when there's been the door-to-door collecting or it's about to happen, because you know that people are going to be exhausted during that week or 2 weeks. It used to be a whole month. And of course, it used to happen twice in a year. There used to be a harvest collection and there used to be a self-denial collection as well. So that chorus would have been very popular, no doubt, during that time. The fact that God is interested in us, and even in those moments when we're exhausted, God is there interested in us. Now, we've experienced over the last couple of weeks that refreshment, even if it's only been a few days at a time. We've experienced the refreshment, the stepping back from the constant busyness, the constant being on call, as it were. That knowing that the phone or messenger or whatever could go at any moment. We've stepped back from that and just taken that little while and been able to rest in God and be refreshed. And it is something that's absolutely vital for each one of us. It's vital for us to get that rest. We're built that way, that we need to unwind rather than coil that spring tighter and tighter and tighter. But God knows us and he knows what we need. Now, there's a significant difference between the idea of having a contract and having a covenant. Contract's something that we're all very, very much used to. It's something that can be temporary for a short period of time, a longer period of time. It's something that perhaps could give you job security for a while. It's something that can tie you into paying for a thing over a number of months or years. But it's something that can be broken. A covenant is something entirely different. It's something made with God. Our covenant is made with God, and it's everlasting, and it needs to be one that we're faithful to. We need a humble obedience to our King, and that's a difficult thing to actually undertake in a world where our rights have become the most important thing to so many people. To actually say we will serve God is something completely different. But God doesn't just take, he gives, and he gives far more than we are actually giving. God's covenant with Israel through Moses is accompanied by the giving of the 10 Commandments, which are to define the character and the conduct of the people. The long and short of it is really trying to protect the people from themselves. If you look through all of those things in the 10 Commandments, it's trying to protect the people from themselves. It's trying to give them a set of rules to follow that will save them a lot of bother. Ultimately, the people of God in covenant with him were called to grow into the very character and nature of God. Now that again is something that can be really difficult to accept for ourselves, that we could be like God. Not be God, but be like God. Salvation Army has a wonderful chorus which says, "To be like Jesus, this hope possesses me. In every thought and deed, this is my aim, my creed. To be like Jesus, this hope possesses me. His Spirit helping me, like him I'll be." God calls us to be more and more like him. It's a gradual process. We change, we become more like him each and every day, set apart, holy, for God's use. Still to be of use within the world, but our main aim being to please God. If our focus on holiness, I have to say, it's easy to get stuck on what we don't do rather than what we do. We can also get stuck on what we do rather than who we are. Who we are as people. One piece of advice given to me as a child: don't ever forget who you are and whose you are. Know who you are as a person, and know that you're the child of the King of Kings. That in itself suddenly elevates who you are as a person, your worth, your self-worth. And there are many, many people who suffer from low self-esteem. As the child of the King of Kings, we really shouldn't be suffering from low self-esteem, but recognising our place before God. We have a merciful, unfailing God who loves us. And he wants to show himself in the world. And he can do that through our living. The things that we do, the way that we treat other people, the way that we react to other people. Well, the Israelites' journey as covenant people, it reveals disappointment, disobedience, seasons of questioning their destiny. God still keeps his covenant. He's faithful, he's just, he is merciful, no matter how the people behave. Our God is unchanging, and so too is our responsibility to obey him. Despite our failures, if we get it wrong, we come back to God, we seek his forgiveness, and we try to follow even more closely, having learned lessons from our unfaithfulness. This world needs people who are living a covenanted relationship with God. I pray that through you and through us, we will make a difference to this world.
We're going to turn in conclusion to song number 602. 602. Lord, I make a full surrender. All I have I yield to thee, for thy love so great and tender asks the gift of me. Lord, I bring my whole affection. Claim it, take it for thine own. Safely kept by thy protection, fixed on thee alone.
Lord, I make a full surrender. All I have I yield to thee, for thy love so great and tender as the gift of me. Lord, I bring my whole affection, claim it, take it for thine own. Safely kept by thy protection, based on thee alone. Glory, glory, hallelujah. I have given my all to God, and I now have full salvation through the precious Lord. Lord, my evil thing, preventing, blending it with God. Lord, my life I lay before thee, in this hour sacred vow. All thine own I now restore thee, thine forever now. Glory, glory, hallelujah, I have given my all to God, and I now have full salvation through the precious blood. Blessed Spirit, thou hast brought me thus my all to thee to give. For the blood of Christ has brought me, and by faith I live. Show thyself, O God of power, thy unchanging loving friend. Keep me till in this glad hour, live in such a land. Glory, glory, hallelujah, I have given my all to God, and I now have full salvation through the precious blood.
And thank you again for joining us this evening. Thank you for your words of encouragement. And we just pray that you too will keep safe this week. And we look forward to sharing with you again next Sunday at the same time. And before we close this evening, before we leave you, we are going to light our candle and place it in the window at 7 o'clock. It's maybe just after 7. And we share this prayer with you and pray that God will indeed bless you just where you are. And so we pray. Living God, be with us in the desert place and renew us as those who are made in your image. Hear us as we call to you and answer our cry. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, be with us in the desert place and meet us in the place of suffering. Hear us as we call to you and bring healing to the broken. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, be with us in the desert place and come beside those who are sorrowing. Hear us as we call to you and have compassion upon us. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, be with us in the desert place and lead us to the places of discovery and rediscovery. Hear us as we call to you and reshape the pattern of our lives. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Living God, be with us in the desert place, and may we know that Christ is with us. Hear us as we call to you, and lead us to the place where we hear your word of affirmation. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining with us tonight. It's been so much better for us to be able to do this live than recording this, and I'm so grateful that you're able to join with us. Please scroll through those messages that we've received this evening. There are a lot of people asking for prayer, and we will pray for them, and it would be wonderful if you would pray for them also. We look forward to joining with you again this time next week. Bless you.